Good morning. Well, it's going to be a very active scene for quite a few hours, according to the De Pere Fire Department. They're going to be investigating and seeing what happened. They don't know how this fire started, but I want to show you the building right now because there is no building left. It's just a big pile of rubble now, which is, we'll talk about that in just a second as far as sort of how that all came into play. But there's multiple agencies here this morning helping out the city of De Pere fire agencies here. The good news is everybody got out safe. There were over 20 people that were evacuated in this area, including the buildings next to this building. So it was also a brick building, a very historic old building, over 100 years old. So I guess according to the city of De Pere, that was sort of a challenge that they were having to deal with this morning. So lots to talk about here, including the fact that I spoke to the owner of the restaurant in the first floor. That's where the fire apparently started. She's very upset. She's very distraught over this. She owned Ogan, the restaurant, for over 10 years now. So talking to people in the area who were affected this morning, and everybody's just pretty much in shock. The Red Cross, they are helping out the people that were displaced over by Century Lanes. That's where they are being sent to right now if they don't have a place to go. But we did talk to the mayor of De Pere, Mike Walsh, and this is what he had to say this morning.
A sad day. This is a very historic old building, and unfortunately when we have those types of buildings, it doesn't take long for them to go up when there's a fire.
Good morning. It's going to be a scene for quite some time this morning, and you can see what's left of the building now that we have the daylight. It looks like they stopped hosing it down. Fire officials had to get some water from the river. Actually, they moved their tankers so they can get the water from the river so people in the area could take hot showers, but there were plenty of people that were evacuated in the buildings that were near this building. And as we've been talking about throughout the morning today, the first floor was a restaurant, Ogan Restaurant. That's where fire officials think the fire may have started. They don't know what started it, but they at least know where it may have started was that Ogan Restaurant. And up above were apartments that there were about 20 people or so that were evacuated this morning, including their pets. So the good news is everybody made it out safe, including the pets. Even the buildings nearby, people were evacuated. Everybody there is also okay. It is a 100-year-old building, if not older, and there's multiple businesses that were inside. That's all gone now, too. I talked to the owner of Ogan. She's very, very distraught this morning. She was very upset, but we will continue to bring you updates this morning throughout the day. I even talked to Mayor Mike Walsh of De Pere. He's just glad that everybody made it out safe, and he says he doesn't have enough good things to say about all of the rescue efforts and all of that's happening here this morning. And we do have routed information in case you do need to get around. We've been tweeting that, and I know Catherine has been doing that in Time Safer Traffic as well. Live in De Pere, Aisha Morales, Action 2 News.
The high school did have an emergency plan in place in the event of a serious incident like the one this morning. Aisha Morales joins us now with those details. Aisha.
Hey, Mackenzie, thank you. As you know, the process of picking up the kids today here at Tippler Middle School is a stressful one, both for students and their parents. The parents just anxious to see their kids, and the students themselves just wanting to get home to their families. I was chatting with a mom today who tells me that she had to go through a 3-step process to get to her child to be reunited with her son today. She says there was a form to fill out for the police department, the school, and teachers. So again, a triple check system to make sure all students are accounted for. She and other parents say the district and the police department did a great job. Some parents had to wait out in the cold, as you said, for more than an hour in some cases, all part of the school crisis response plan through the district, which says the students and staff all did a great job of going from evacuation to reunification. Still, it was just overall a long day for everyone.
It was a long process. It was waiting, cold outside. I got on house shoes, as you can see, but I'll do anything to protect my children.
She had to go home to get her ID, and then it took like an hour for her to even get through the line because it's so long. And so it took forever for her to even get to us, even though I was ready to go.
The reunification process is one the district has in place anytime there is an evacuation, just like there was today. And just watching some of those families leave today, some people were very distraught. Others were holding each other as they were walking to their cars, just anxious to get home. Live in Oshkosh, Aisha Morales, Action 2 News.
A tense wait for those parents today, anxious to get reunited with their kids after they were bused from Oshkosh West to nearby Pere Middle School. The district had a plan ready in case something like this happened. Aisha Morales joins us now live to tell us about that plan. Aisha.
Cammie, that reunification plan is one the district has in place in case something like this happens. They were all ready to go with that plan. It is quiet here tonight, but it was a much different scene here hours ago with parents lined up out in the cold waiting, anxious to get their kids back home. Not the type of day many parents expected to have today, getting that frantic call or text.
It was really crazy because as soon as I texted her like something's happening, and she drove over right away because we don't live that far from here, but she wanted me to like come get to the car, and I couldn't like get to the car, and we had to come over here.
It's something that's happened to you that you'll never want to experience in life. It's a bad experience for people that never had to go through this.
April Brackens, here to pick up her two sons, says it's been a long day.
It was a long process. It was waiting, cold outside. I got on house shoes, as you can see, but I'll do anything to protect my children.
An even longer one for students who say they heard running and yelling outside their classrooms.
It's very stressful. I thought I was going to have a panic attack at first. I started crying immediately when I got out of the school. Started freaking out, texting my friends, calling my mom, calling my dad.
I knew we had to get out of the room because there's obviously shots fired, and you could hear people just sprinting down the halls and stuff. It was bad.
Parents waited in a long line, some for an hour, others longer. One mom we spoke to says the district and law enforcement did a great job in implementing the reunification plan. Parents needed to sign a form for the police department, the school, and teachers, a triple check system. As we saw families leaving here today, it was pretty emotional. People holding on to each other as they walked towards their vehicles. Some of the kids were upset, and obviously the parents as well. One mom walked past me and just said, "Mom is not okay." So an emotional day for everyone. Live in Oshkosh, Aisha Morales, Action 2 News.
Let's take you to the scene where Aisha Morales is standing by. Aisha, what's the situation right now?
Hey, Bill and Cammie, well, we just got to the scene not too long ago, and honestly driving in, you could see the smoke from miles away. I'll get out of the shot here so you could see the smoke. The wind has really been a factor just by me looking at it. The smoke really impactful here. There's several agencies on the scene. The smoke has actually gotten worse, I think, since we got here. As you said, this is the Crivets Lumber and Rental. We've heard from witnesses that the business is engulfed in flames. We've seen lots of law enforcement agencies in the area blocking off roads. And another thing to note also is that several people, if not dozens of people, are without power tonight in this bitter cold. At last check, we heard that it was -30 with that wind chill. So this is something else that the firefighters are having to deal with. And those 93 people in Crivets that are without power, they do have the opportunity to go to an emergency shelter tonight at the Crivets Village Hall. That's the last thing we've heard as far as those folks somewhere they can stay warm, at least for tonight. We will continue to bring you updates tonight as much as possible online and then on air tomorrow morning on Action 2 News. This morning we'll continue to bring you updates then. Live in Crivets, Aisha Morales, Action 2 News. Good morning. Well, yet another old building in our community has gone down. I want to show you the scene because we got a lot closer this time around. We're going to show you, first of all, the building that went down. That's where Mabel Murphy's was, and firefighters are having to hose down that area right now because there's still flames going on. It's a very active scene still. But also the building next to it, if we can show that a little bit too, that's where the fire originally started, actually. Believe it or not, that's where the fire started. Spread over to Mabel Murphy's, according to firefighters who I just spoke to, and they're still battling the fire towards the back of the building. Also, what they just told us was the building where it started, that brick building, there were apartments on the upper floor there. 4 people got out safely on their own. So again, good news in this situation where no one was hurt, but Mabel Murphy's did go down. John Holland with the Oshkosh Fire Department tells me that this is an icon to the community, and yes, to stay away for everybody in this area, whether this is your morning commute or not, to just try and stay away because this is a very active scene still. We'll continue to be here bringing you the latest as the firefighters continue to battle this fire. Live in Oshkosh, Aisha Morales, Action 2 News.